between you two. Leading into this matchup, talk about how personal this was for you.
At the end of the day, this opportunity was about myself. I could care less about him. He's just a person that I had to go through. When it comes to the beef and stuff, I don't really care. It's in the past. He's not relevant in my life. He's not relevant to my day-to-day life, my any-day life, really. Adds to it. I guess it did bring a little bit more excitement. But at the end of the day, me being here, it's all about myself. It's my opportunity. It's my time to walk up there and do what I do. Everything played out exactly how it was supposed to go. And I'm happy with that. But in terms of the beef or anything, it's behind me. I don't care about that. I live my life the way I want to live it, and I don't let anyone intervene on that.
The hype and the buildup leading into this was, KO Chris's power and, your chin being undeniable. How did it feel, receiving those strikes from Chris?
I don't think he's the hardest I've been hit by. I think Cole swings a little bit harder, his placement's off, and I think Wesley hits harder overall. It was good. I'm not going to knock him at all. He does throw a good slap. I do think some of them were a little bit off. He was on the neck a lot. But at the end of the day, I knew my chin would hold up. I'm prepared for anything and all things. It's not the hardest I've ever been hit. It's not the hardest I'll ever be hit. I've gone through life, and that hits much harder than anything.
Was there any strategy by going on one in round one?
Yeah, honestly, I was really worried he was going to flinch, which, as we saw, he flinched damn near on every single one of them. He's all over the place. So the strategy going on one was to try to, catch him, one spot before he started moving around and getting all anxious.
Yeah, it wasn't a clean match by any stretch. Was it getting to you? Was it frustrating, kind of seeing how it was unfolding?
Not at all. He could bring a fucking bat up there and hit me with that. It doesn't fucking matter at all. I'm there to eat whatever he has for me. All I care about is myself. That's all I care about when I'm up there. Make sure I'm in the perfect stance, take those blows the best I can, and deliver the perfect slap.
I know your family was here in attendance. What did it mean to compete in front of them, your brother, your mother?
Yeah, it means the world to me. I try to be the role model I'm supposed to be for my brothers. I try to do the best I can in life. Show them how to fight through adversity, show them how to fight through all things, work hard for some things in life. So it meant a lot to me to be able to show that today.
Robert Trujillo won again. He spoke what his desire potentially to go up to 170. Yeah. I know you guys are friends.
Rob's like my best friend. He knows damn well he's not coming up to 170. I could never slap that guy wholeheartedly and actually try to hurt him. I love Rob. I will say that Power Slap needs to get some more 155ers so Rob can get the belt that he rightfully deserves, because he's easily, pound for pound, one of the best, if not the best, in Power Slap.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I've just got one. You mentioned that you have a friend, you wouldn't want to slap him. Do you need that animosity? Or is it just that you don't want?
I don't need the animosity at all. The truth of the matter is, Rob, for those of you who don't know, Rob is an excellent MMA fighter with a career in MMA. I think he's going to go a long way, maybe into the UFC belts or whatever it is. Hopefully he gets picked up sooner rather than later. But I think Rob has a long, really good career in MMA, in the UFC, hopefully. And I don't want to take from that at all. I don't want to, add any slaps or brain injuries or anything like that at all. Rob's one of my best friends. He's been one of my best friends since we started this. So I just respect him too much to do that.
All good?
You were the main event of the first paid attendance with the crowd at Power Slap. You put on a show. How does it feel?
Man, it feels great. Would have been amazing if I had just put him out on one. But, at the end of the day, I think the match speaks volumes of who I am as a person, who I am as a power slapper, striker. I've got the best chin in the sport. I'm here to stay. I'm going to win the war of attrition every single time. I'm going to get up every single time, and I'm going to come back stronger every single time.
Now that you hold a Power Slap belt what do you foresee in your Power Slap career in the future?
Yeah, I definitely want to, defend it. I'm sure the media knows that California has approved it for an event. I hope I can get on that card and defend on that card. It'd be amazing. I'm from California. I'd love to have all my people there. I'd love to have my city there. I definitely plan on defending it a few times. Further past that, I want to get into MMA. I want to go pro in MMA sometime in the next few years. And I want to continue growing, not just in Power Slap, but in life. I want to continue being a better person every single day. I want to continue growing as a human being.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Hey, Nola, Matt McClellan, Knockout Radio. My first time in attendance here. We were at the NFL all day. We saw legends come through, Chuck Liddell, pioneers of the UFC where it was 30 years ago. And now here you are in the pioneer section of SLAP. Do you think about the future? Do you think about becoming an iconic, legendary figure in this sport?
Yeah, that's actually wonderful you bring that up because, if you looked on the stage tonight, you'd see Forrest Griffin on the stage catching us. Forrest Griffin, he was winner of Ultimate Fighter 1. So it's amazing to, be a part of the sport at an early age, to help the sport grow. I was the coach on the last season, to help these other slappers grow and learn everything they can about this. And it's amazing to be a part of that. It's amazing to be someone who's pioneering something.
And Manuel, congrats on the win. We've seen the different looks before. Was there any specific reason for the color today of the hair?
Yeah, red is my color, if I'm being honest with you, but the red and blue just wasn't matching correctly for me. And purple is a color of royalty, for those of you who know. Purple is a color of royalty. Tonight I got crowned the champ. So,
Congrats, man. That's what's up. And last for me, you got the family in town, Super Bowl weekend, all kind of stuff. We got the UFC fighting out at the Apex. How do you celebrate with that new, belt around your waist?
I'm going to celebrate at the gym. I'm going to get back home. I'm going to get back to work. I'm going to come back better than I was today, better than I was today, yesterday. I'm just going to continue to grow and learn.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. I got a question for you. You kind of broke him down over 5 rounds and won in a dominant fashion. Is that more satisfying than just getting like a 1-round knockout?
My face would tell you otherwise, but absolutely, to win the war of attrition, to continue to grind it down like that, that speaks volumes of who I am as a person. I'll never quit. I'll never give up on anything, especially not myself. So to win in the 5th round by knockout is picture perfect.
Thank you.
All right, all good?
One more. To be in that environment in the house and just, you've seen it over the years and it grew with the Ultimate Fighter, and now you see the first, again, live fans, Pain and Super Bowl weekend. What was that environment like? And now you see how the event grew, and I'm sure the numbers are probably the biggest they've ever been. How does that feel to be the main headliner?
Man, it was awesome to look out into the crowd and, see some really recognizable faces, look down and see Dana and Travis Scott. It's pretty freaking crazy. To know that all these people are here to watch me is amazing, and I'm glad I was able to put on a show and, excite the fans. I can't wait for the sport to continue to grow and grow. Obviously we see where the UFC is today, and I hope one day we can get there as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay. Well, what's up, everybody?
Dana.
Performance of the night. Muniz, Trujillo, Vern, and Phillips. They all got $10,000. You know the gate. I already told you. I'm sorry you had to be squished next to Kevin Iole all night tonight. But thanks for coming, everybody. Talk to me.
It was worth it
Thank
to
you.
get squished in there. Can you just give me your overall thoughts of the event?
It was a big night. It was a big night for us. We pulled a huge number. Rumble was just telling us that we're over 2 million already views. To put this into perspective, when you think about ESPN, we're on ESPN for a fight night. We do anywhere between 750,000 to 1 million viewers, right? And sometimes if we knock it out of the park, it's 1.2 million, 1.5 million. We're over 2 million views tonight live, and that doesn't include the power of that was in the room tonight as far as social media goes. It's massive.
You had quite
We
a few,
literally had the most powerful people on the internet in the room tonight.
and you had quite a few celebrities as well sitting next to you. Can you kind of talk to me about what it's like to have your friends and all of the people around you?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. People that to have Brady, whom I have a great relationship with. Believe it or not, I wear Travis Scott's. I have like 300 pairs of them, and this is the first night that we ever met. And thank God he's really cool and funny and everything else. I don't want to have to go home and burn 300 pairs of Travis Scott's. When you meet people who you admire and they're worth your admiration, it's always cool. So, yeah, Travis Scott. I get the whole Travis Scott thing. Not just his shoes are cool. He's one of the funniest and coolest guys I've ever met.
And you have a new champion tonight. Can you talk about the main event a little bit?
Yeah, so as far as the live event goes, I mean, I've been talking to you guys about this since day one. My team, absolutely kills it when it comes to the production of the show. The in-house live event was good. My entire staff, everybody that did what they did tonight, put on an incredible event. The things that we can't control are the fights, and we're still at a place where, like the Sheena fight, Cataline is very green, so it was a foul, but you can see that she definitely has a future in the sport.
Can you give us an update on Sheena's health at all?
Yeah, Sheena's okay. Yeah, she usually does that to other people, and tonight it happened to her. But I mean, she's such a huge superstar for us, and obviously, everything she does is incredibly viral.
Sean Strickland tweeted that there may have been something between him and Machine Gun Kelly. Can you talk to me about what happened there?
You can't bring Sean Strickland around any other human beings. It's like, you know what I mean? It has nothing to do with Machine Gun Kelly. It's about humans.
There was a recent video of John Jones looked like body slammed and thrown around. Is he healthy?
Really? I know nothing about this.
He's I guess in New Zealand or Australia or somewhere, and he's getting thrown around by the rugby guys.
They were throwing him around?
Yeah, he got thrown onto mat and all kinds of stuff. So I'm assuming you haven't talked to him about his health. I'm assuming he looks to be okay.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm happy to hear that. I know nothing about this.
So he's not going to be the headliner for UFC 300?
Who knows who's going to be the UFC 300 headliner? We've been working on it. It's been interesting, I can tell you that. Because obviously, we want to deliver, I keep saying this. Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt is literally the first fight of the night. So when you look at the card where it sits today, every single fight could be a main event on a fight night or a pay-per-view. We're just waiting for that last. We got 2 more fights that we got to put together. We're working on it.
And last one for me, John Anik came out recently and had some criticism of MMA fans, and then came out a couple days later and apologized. And I think now people think that he was told to apologize. I know your stance on free speech, so just wondering if you could clear that up.
You know for a fact nobody here told him to apologize. But at the same time, when you're in a position like Anik, me, you, anybody else, if you're a public figure, you got to be able to take the heat. You got to be able to take the criticism. You got to be able to, we all take our lumps on any given day. I love that shit. I eat that stuff for breakfast, so that's fun for me. And I get it. Some other people have a hard time dealing with it. I love Nina Drama. Nina Drama had a little meltdown yesterday too. I think that everybody has their good days and their bad days. Yeah, I don't know. But nobody here will ever tell anybody to apologize or to, no, we don't do that here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dana,
Dana.
I just wonder, like, where does the sport go, right? So, I asked one of the fighters this. All the other sports, the athletes get better over time. They run faster, they get stronger, whatever. And this, it's more of a, I guess, technique-based sport, right? So what is the evolution of this sport, and how big can it get when the athletes get even better?
Well, it's a great question from somebody like you because you were at the actual first one that we ever tested. So if you look at the difference between, when we tested it to where we are today, literally everything is better. And it has already started to evolve. These guys are training at the PI. There's stats involved now. We're starting to figure out strength, neck strength, torque, like all different stats on these guys when they train. And as more and more money comes into the sport, it will evolve. Just like MMA. I mean, in the early days of MMA, there were like 3 camps to go train with, and it wasn't mixed martial arts. It wasn't what it is today. And that will happen here too.
Will you have some of the fighters train at the PI and things like that, and then use the technology that the PI has to help?
It's already happening. Yeah, we're already doing that. Now camps are actually starting to pop up, and some of these guys that are coming and coaching are really good. And yeah, there's so much stuff to announce with Power Slap that's going on right now, and you guys will hear a lot of it in the next couple weeks.
Did Brady like it? It didn't seem like he stayed too long.
Yeah, well, the problem is tonight they have these guys had Goodell had a party tonight, so everybody had to come in and hang for Power Slap for a while, then go to the Goodell party. But all these guys that are in the NFL they got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. So the fact that he even came by, couldn't ask for a better friend and a better human than Tom Brady. I love him.
And last question, I know you've compared it to the beginning of the UFC, and you've made that comparison a lot, but do you see this becoming a big arena thing? Because it seems you have to be in an intimate environment to really get the benefit of this as a fan, right? You have to be close and on top of it. If you're sitting up in the bleachers at T-Mobile, it seems like it would be tough. Could you make this an arena show and take it on the road?
So when we started the UFC, our first venue was the Trump Taj Mahal. We sold 2,500 tickets and gave 2,500 tickets away. Yeah. So we could have been in here for the first UFC event.
But I'm just saying, like, is the sport conducive to a big arena show? Like, can you do it given the intimacy you require for people to be able to see what's happening?
Yeah. Did you ever see darts? Ever see a dart event?
Not really.
In England? It's
Only when
fucking.
I was drunk.
Any of you ever see darts? Eddie Hearn. There you go, my man. Yeah, it's fucking fascinating. I mean, the people that they get to go in and watch dart events, and what's funny is I kind of modeled this thing off of darts. It's fun. It's energetic. There's a lot of drinking and a lot of people. You notice when you're at these events, everybody has their phone up. Everybody has their phone up. Everybody's filming. But yeah, yes, I do think that there will be a day where we could do arenas.
Dana, it's I think it was after Power Slap 4 when you first mentioned you were going to make sure that Power Slap and UFC had a presence on Super Bowl week. You were emphatic about that and excited. And we saw what happened tonight. But leading up to it, I know you did Radio Row, and I'm sure that you've seen a lot of your friends. What's the excitement been all week leading up to it about Power Slap? And I got UFC Fight Night tomorrow, but in terms of leading up, feeling a part of Super Bowl week, as big as this is.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this week, this was one of the hottest. I don't know if you want to call it Super Bowl party or Super Bowl events of the week. I mean, how many 300 plus we turned away that couldn't get tickets, and 300 plus the first time we ever sold tickets. And we didn't sell tickets, we sold VIP packages, and we did a $300,000 gate in VIP packages. And I mean, this thing was about as successful as you could possibly ever hope it is.
The previous Power Slaps, as we've been leading up to it, we become used to a lot of the familiar names, right, over the course of the Turp Daddies, the Wolverines, the Hawaiians, right? Tonight, it's the TV guys and the Buffalo Soldier. I mean, some of the guys, but they're still the up-and-coming names. They're not the familiar names we've seen at the first 5, and yet they put on a show. That had to make you feel good for as important this show was, that a lot of the household names, if you will, through the first 5, they kind of took tonight off.
Yeah, you know, when you think about when we bought the UFC, you know, there were guys already like Tito and Chuck Liddell and some of these other guys that people already knew, and there was always already a hardcore following of the sport. You know, this thing we started, a lot of these Americans, there's guys like, you guys know who Dumpling is, and I mean, that's how I got into it. I was watching him slap on Instagram, and some of those guys that are well known, but these guys are all brand new guys that are in the sports being introduced to, you know, the world right now. When you think about it, this is our 7th event. To be as far as we are and as successful as we are, and to have what we have going on in just 7 events. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time, but if you can't wrap your head around this thing now, I don't know what to tell you, but this is going to be massive.
Dana.
Dana. Very fun event. It was kind of sloppy, a lot of DQs.
I agree.
Does it kind of take the air out of the event when that happens?
Well, it's definitely not. So what we did tonight is my team did a great job of controlling everything that we can control. And it's no different than the UFC. When they get in there, we have no control. They have to go in and they have to deliver. They have to train. They have to be right. So I don't know. I keep comparing it to UFC, but I don't know if you remember. It was UFC it was 33 when we came to Vegas for the first time. The worst fucking show in UFC history. Okay, it was our big coming out party. We had just got on. We were back on pay-per-view. We were in Vegas at the Mandalay Bay, and we went too long over the window, and the main event shut off halfway through. You couldn't fuck up an event more than we fucked up UFC 33. So if I had to compare tonight to that, this is all just part of the evolution. And we already talked. I mean, Frank Hunter and I were in the back talking about sloppy and things. And it's not just us, it's the commission too. We all have to get better, you know, and the fighters have to get better and things have to change. But, you know, even the last fight was sloppy and lots of fouls, but it ended the way you would expect it to end.
Are you happy with how, you know, the commission's taking and the referees are taking their time to like look at the replays? They're taking a chance like before fouls are called and everything. Are you happy with that?
The commission has been incredible. I mean, this commission right now is one of the greatest commissions we've ever worked with, and these guys have been phenomenal. I think they already have a meeting set up next week to start going over stuff again and making sure we all get better.
You got the Fertitas out of their castles. How did they enjoy the show?
It was good to have the boys out again, and you know, it's a big night when you get Frank out. You know what I mean? It's a big night. So yeah, all the stars were out tonight.
I wanted to ask you. Obviously, there's a UFC event tomorrow, but was there ever, when you were laying out the schedule, to try and do a UFC pay-per-view on Super Bowl weekend, or was it just wasn't going to happen?
What's the question?
When you were laying out the schedule for 2024, was there ever a thought to put a UFC pay-per-view before the Super Bowl on Sunday?
No.
And then you met with BKFC and Sakibara. Anything cool?
Yeah, I've been taking some meetings. No, you know, Saki Kabara and I have an incredible relationship and an incredible history. The whole battle between UFC and Pride back in the old days, and we're talking about some stuff. And then the bare knuckle guys came out to meet and ask some questions. I never met him before. Nice guy, liked him.
Is there a chance Horiguchi comes back to the UFC?
We'll see.
And then 2 last ones from me. Joe Pyfer is obviously headlining
I'm so
tomorrow.
excited for that fight.
Yeah, just kind of to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, he is the epitome of every sports movie you've ever seen, overcoming, you know, adversity and broke, struggling, but keeping his eye on the prize, struggling to get to, you know, he's had this dream of where he wanted to be, gets back in, wins, gets the contract in spectacular fashion, and goes on a 5-fight win streak or however many fights he's on now, and all by finish. And now he's taking on a badass dude that will break him into the top 10 if he wins. You couldn't have a better story than this. It's like, It's like a real life Rocky movie.
Obviously, we got to see how the fight plays out, but he goes out there and does what he does. He is in the top 10. With the middleweight division kind of all over the place right now, like, is there a chance Pyford gets a top contender fight soon?
Well, I mean, I believe that if he wins on Saturday, he breaks into the top 10. So once you get there, anything is possible.
And then finally, for me, Niners or Chiefs on Sunday. Who you picking?
I don't give a shit because the Patriots aren't in it. But I just think it's hard to bet against Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed. But I do think that the 49ers are a better team. I just think that Kansas City knows how to win. But at the end of the day, whoever wins, wins. I could care less. Go ahead, brother.
The 300,000 ticket sales, over $2 million, or sorry, 2 million views on Rumble. The largest live audience to date. Can you talk about the momentum that has happened over the last 13 months and where you see this going in the months to come?
Listen, again, comparing it to UFC, every time you put on an event, you grow. And that's what we're going to do. I don't really think about that. What we think about is how do we make each event, how do we be better than we were last time is what I think about. And it's funny because I was talking to Frank. This is all new for Frank. Frank's a lawyer, okay? Frank does lawyer shit for a living, and before he came here, and now he's got to sweat these events. And when you get into this business, it's crazy. I think it's kind of what I love about this right now is I haven't felt like this in a long time. We'll go out, and let's be honest, Toronto sucked. That show sucked. And every time we put on one of those events, it bums me out, and I try to figure out what could we do different next time we do. But I don't sweat the events like I do. I feel that I don't know what it is. I don't want to call it butterflies or what you want to call it, but I feel it now when we do these Power Slap events because we're building something and it's growing. And when you put on an event like tonight, like the people that showed up, you have one chance to make a first impression. So everything from the music to the lighting to the pace to the food and the drinks and the service and getting in the front door, and all these things are things that you're worrying about and making sure that you try to make sure it goes smooth. And it's what makes doing what we do fun, yet it's fucking brutal at the same time.
I mean, you had incredible celebrities here tonight. You've talked in the past about having celebrities participate in slap fighting matches. Have you had any further conversations recently?
Not really, no. I mean, you're going to get like former NFL guys and former athletes, and that's going to happen. And again, as the money continues to get better and better, it will just eventually happen.
You talked earlier this week about Hawaii, Texas, New Jersey, Florida, and California. Is there anywhere that you can that you see yourself going first between those?
Hawaii.
Any particular?
We got a lot of Hawaiians, and we haven't been to Hawaii with the UFC. And I love Hawaii, and I'm sure you guys do too. Wouldn't suck to fly out to Hawaii and watch some slapping. So, yeah, I think we all like the idea of Hawaii. So we kind of got our sights set on Hawaii right now. Two places that we really are excited about is Hawaii and Houston.
Okay, awesome. The performances tonight, which ones stood out to you and which ones were your favorite?
I mean, you'd have to go with I was so excited for the co-main event, leading up to this fight. The co-main event and Trujillo.
Awesome. One last one. At the MMA Awards last year, Mark Smith talked about the potential of using neck guards and/or hand guards. Has there been any further conversation about that with the commission?
About what?
About using either neck guards or hand guards?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. You guys don't want me
Right
to
here.
hide.
So between Tom, Travis Scott, and MGK, they have about 100 million followers on social media. When did you first recognize the power of social media as kind of a marketing arm for UFC and now Power? Because many commissioners don't actually have a favorable relationship with social media, but you've embraced it.
Well, what's funny is most of you don't know, but those are the three people that you know that were in the room. The rest of the kids that were in the room are the most powerful people on the internet. The most powerful people on the internet were in this room tonight that most of you don't even know. Kai and Speed and Aiden Ross are the three biggest streamers in the world. And they were in there tonight streaming. And the rest of the room was literally the most powerful people on the internet. So I saw this very early, and that's basically what this business was built off of. This business was built off the internet.
Last question. So it's first Super Bowl being held in Las Vegas. You've been in this town a long time to see sports grow and the landscape really be diversified. What does it mean for not just your business, but for Las Vegas in general and the sports and business landscape to have this event? And what do you think about it coming back?
No, I'm super proud as a Las Vegan. You know, I mean, if any of you follow me on Instagram, like I love this city so much. Like almost every night that I drive home, I film the scenic from the top of the freeway to my house, and I'm just like, I fucking love this city so much. We moved here from Boston in 1977, and when we moved here, the UNLV Runner Rebels were like the biggest thing on the planet. Like everybody in this city loved the Rebels, and just that alone, I think, showed what a big sports town this had the capability of being. So I talked to Roger Goodell today. So I was with Roger Goodell this afternoon. And I said, you know that this is where the Super Bowl should be every year, right? This shouldn't even go anywhere else. The Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA Finals, and whatever else should be here like every single year. There isn't another city that can compete with this city. This is the greatest city on earth. All the big sporting, leagues are coming here now. They're going to have a fucking ping pong league here pretty soon. I mean, everybody is coming here. Baseball, basketball, soccer. I mean, they can't get here fast enough. Why? Because this is the greatest city on earth. We have the best hotels in the world. We have the best restaurants, the best entertainment, the best shopping. And, I was talking about this the other day. If you're from Boston and you're going to do an away game for the Patriots, you're going to Vegas. You're not going to Cleveland. You're coming to Vegas. You know what I mean? Sorry, Cleveland. I keep shitting on Cleveland, but
That's okay. Keep it up.
you're just the one that pops in my head. But this is the greatest city on earth.
Just a quick follow-up. What was his response to you recruiting the Super Bowl back every year?
I don't know how he took it, but he definitely didn't disagree. He definitely didn't disagree. This is the greatest city on earth, and it's the greatest sports town on the planet. And I'm from Boston, so what's that tell you?
Dana.
Yeah.
Sheena, she's one of the biggest face of the Power Slap, and she said before that she's planning to fight MMA this year, probably the first semester. Is she going to be able to do both, like Power Slap and MMA, or maybe?
She said she wanted to do an MMA fight?
Yes.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
After tonight, she might want to take some time off.
She's training at MMA Masters.
Yeah,
Cool.
in Florida, MMA Masters.
Cool.
Do you think it would be possible for her to do both?
I don't know. You think she should turn right around and start training for an MMA fight right now, or maybe wait a little bit?
Okay. Anthony Smith, we saw him today, tonight. Is there any other fighters, UFC fighters, that want to do that? Because I know, like, some of Brazilian fighters, they would love to do the catching.
Well, Anthony Smith was very vocal about how much he loved this and he wanted to be a part of it. So, we love Anthony Smith, so we did it. Obviously, if any. So, me and the Fertitta Zone throw one, too. For those of you that don't know, we own Ridiculousness on MTV. We own SLS Skate League, Nitro Cross, and Travis Nitro Circus. And Cowboy wanted to race. He wanted to be one of the racers in there, so Cowboy's in that. I got a bull in the PBR, and for whatever fucking crazy reason, no Cowboys can ride him, but Cowboy Cerrone wants to ride him. So that's happening in Dallas, Texas in May. We got a lot of fun shit going on. Obviously, these fighters, when they retire or if they want to do other things, we got a lot of stuff to do.
You said Cowboy it's funny because during part of his career, you were kind of concerned about the things he was doing besides.
Well, he doesn't have a career anymore, so.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to ride Twisted Steel, who is like 33-3 against fucking cowboys who ride bulls for a living. He's a grown man. What am I going to do?
Fair enough. So you had Travis Scott, Tom Brady, Charles Barkley. Who did like most of the Mets?
Who liked it more?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't talked to Barkley yet, but you know, Travis Scott was going crazy during the event. Travis Scott was going crazy. Travis Scott. Any of you that like Travis Scott shoes and all that shit, one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. He was fucking hilarious and a great guy, and yeah, I had a blast with him tonight.
Awesome. Just to make it clear, you said before to Amy that you're going to announce 2 more fights for UFC 300?
Yes, sir.
So main event and co-main event or another one?
Co-main event and another one.
Perfect. Is there any date when you're going to announce or something?
Well, listen, I'd announce it now if we had it. We've gone through a lot of crazy shit trying to put this fight together. So it's been interesting. No date.
Awesome.
ASAP is the date.
Last one for me. Congrats on Kayla Harrison contract. Would you mind to give me your thoughts about how was the negotiation? And she's fighting 135, right? Like a lot of fans were surprised about that because she was fighting 155 and then 145.
Yeah, we like to surprise fans. That's what we like to do. So I'm glad they were surprised. And yeah, obviously she's one of the best in the world, and you can't find out, can't know how good you really are unless you fight in the UFC. So she's going to get the opportunity to prove whether she is or not.
All right, cool. Hey, Dana, John from Fight Dudes here. Congratulations on getting Power Slap officially sanctioned in the state of California.
Thank you.
Is there a city in California you'd like to go to first?
We were talking about that. It's a great question. We were talking about possibly, obviously Southern Cal, go down to maybe San Diego or I don't know yet. We've kind of kicked it around, but the first 2 that we're really focused on right now are Hawaii and Houston is where we want to go.
And as a Seattle native, I have to ask, when is a UFC coming to Seattle?
Good question. I mean, we've got a lot of places that we haven't been to since COVID. Seattle's definitely one of them. I mean, it's a great market for us. It's always been really good to us. When we first went there and did our first event, I mean, we went back like 3 times in a row, I think, right after that. That's how good Seattle was. So we'll eventually get back to Seattle.
Great, cool. And one last question. Do you always hit on 16?
Do what?
Do you always hit on 16?
I'll check you out. Yes.
Always?
Unless the cards are goofy. I usually play by the book unless the cards are weird and I got a gut that I shouldn't. But yeah, I always hit on 16.
What about 17? Would you go there?
Do I hit on 17?
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious you asked me that. So I was in a...
I need some tips.
This is awesome. So I was in a blackjack tournament a few years ago. The trophy is in my office, right?
Yeah.
Like, my blackjack trophies are like some of my fucking most prized possessions. When I die, I want them to fucking like lay me in there with the trophy.
Yeah.
So I'm in a blackjack tournament, and you had to pay $250,000 to enter that blackjack tournament. But because I was a celebrity, I didn't have to pay. So I made it to the last table, and I'm playing against all these guys. So we're going to, so they set up the last table. 5 people go to the last table. And this guy, so there's a lot of waiting while so this guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, I'm a big fan, da-da-da-da-da." I'm like, "Oh, cool, thank you, blah, 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 blah." And he says to me, "You know how this works, right?" I'm like, "No, I don't understand. How what works?" He goes, "When you make it to the last table, we all split the pot." And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck that shit." Yeah, I'm not splitting the pot. I came here to win this fucking thing. This dude, these 4 people wanted to fucking murder me. I'm not kidding you. The tension in the room was so fucking crazy. It was unbelievable. So we start playing at the last. Now, they're all playing to beat me, okay? And I can't remember what I did. I can't remember what the move was, but one of the guys starts yelling, "He can't fucking do that. He put too many chips up or whatever. I didn't put enough, whatever." I'm like, fucking relax, all right? So I took the thing back. But I ended up hitting a 17, right? Because the guy over there had more chips than me. I said, fuck it. I hit the 17. I got the 4 on the 17.
Let's go.
Right? So I win, and I can't remember what the scenario was. This is a few years ago, but because that guy shot his mouth off, and you know who you are if you're out there watching this, you remember this. I won the tournament.
Hell yeah.
And literally nobody fucking said anything to me. My big fan just got up and fucking walked out. And I had this lunatic friend of mine that was there from Boston. He starts screaming, he's the greatest blackjack player in the history. And these people wanted to kill him. Anyway, fucking story's too long. But anyway, yes.
All right, cool.
I hit a 17 one fucking time, and I won the blackjack tournament.
Yeah,
it was a $250,000 winner-take-all blackjack tournament.
I'll hit on 17 tonight.
Don't do it. It's the fucking luckiest thing that ever happened to me.
All right, thank you.
All right. Good night, you guys. Thank you.
Hey, Dana, real quick, Matt McClellan, Knockout Radio. Hey, so real quick, you talk about making a first impression. You have all the star power. You've got everything already in place, but the storyline tonight, you have Cole Young, whose child is going through a horrific scene. And you're right. And you've got fighters who are in each other's weddings 2 days before, 3 days before a competition. It feels nostalgic, like the UFC in the beginning was more of a family, put their differences aside. You're telling the story, you're making the personal connection, and I, being my first time here, was mesmerized by what I saw. I don't know why everybody's not standing up right now. The excitement of what you have right here is greater than anything I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you, sir.
And it's massive. It's so talk about how it got to hear from.
So, thank you, and that's what we're going for. We believe too that we have this fucking lightning in a bottle, and you know, I believe that we're the best at putting on live events and creating the buzz and the energy and all that shit. All the bells and whistles that we can control until the fighters get in there. But tell them the story, like he's asking about the kid.
About Cole? Yeah, so Cole's kid has I don't know the name of the disease, but she's got some disease, and he needs to give a piece of his liver to his kid to save his kid, and he pushed off that transplant for this fight to make the money to help all that. So he's going to go have that surgery probably this week or next week.
It's unbelievable. I mean, the storyline.
Exactly. And you know, there's a lot of people that shit on this thing and say whatever. These kids are making, a year ago, before I decided to get into this, these kids were doing this shit for free. You know what I mean? Or for fucking $100 and stuff like that. These kids are making life-changing money now. I was talking about with Pat McAfee the other day, Wolverine, and how it's changed his life, and a lot of these other guys now that are starting to quit their jobs and start to train full-time and take this thing serious. And you know, no matter what combat sport you're involved in, come from a rough life. You come from hardship. Guys who get involved in combat sports, and this is something that will change a lot of people's lives, not just in the United States, but around the world as we continue to grow this thing.
So speaking of changing lives, I know Gary Breccia, your 10X doctor of health. We were talking to Ryan Phillips earlier. He talked about this as a mental game and discipline training and being able to control your sympathetic response. I know Dr. Breccia is really big into the forward exercise science world, as I am. So is any of that starting to be incorporated? I know you guys are trying to figure out what strategies work best, barefoot or not, you know, wind up and torque and all that. But the neurological side, I think, for this sport is going to be critical in the future.
Yeah, Gary is more of a human biologist, and you know, I've talked at fucking length about what this guy's done for me and how he's changed my life, and many people around me that I love and care about, and yeah, he's fucking brilliant. I don't know if I would get him involved in the sports science side of this thing, but anybody that you know, has health issues or has to be on any type of medication that traditional doctors would give you, Gary Breccia can get you off it.
And last one, I was in Miami when you gave Randy the OG status of the UFC. He was there from the beginning. He supported you all those years. I feel honored to be at this critical moment of slap. Power slap will be in the future what the UFC is now, if not bigger. I'm a true fan, and so thank you for allowing me and Knockout Radio and Randy, obviously, to be a part of this.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, and you're not wrong. Wait till we're talking in 3 years. Watch what we do in the next 3 years. And I was saying this in 2002 too. So
Grand Slam.
Yeah, it's very rare that I say we're going to do something and we don't fucking do it. Wait till you see the Sphere. Wait till you see the Sphere.
Dana, from Puerto Rico, we love you in Puerto Rico.
Thank you, brother.
And thank you for all you've done for the sport. Authenticity, that's you. You
Thank
are
you.
authentic.
Thank you.
For the kids, for the youth, what's like your biggest advice for the kiddos growing up, man, seeing you growing up and like looking up to you?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Listen, you know what I'm all about. I believe that, you know, I think that the world has become very soft, and you know, a lot of people bitch and complain about a lot of stuff. One of the great things about being in this business is what I was just talking about earlier, is that the people who are in this sport, whether slap or boxing or MMA, come from hard places, come from, you know, tough upbringings or tough backgrounds, and life is tough. The world is tough. Nobody's gonna fucking be nice to you. Nobody's gonna, you know, you have to get out there and you have to figure out who you are, and you have to grind and work hard every day, and can't let anybody. If I listen to anybody ever, I would have never stuck with the UFC. Everybody said it's hard to wrap your brain around the fact that the UFC at one time was so bad that we couldn't go to venues, and it wasn't allowed on pay-per-view, let alone getting on free TV and all this stuff. I don't listen to any of that bullshit. And it's the same thing with Power Slap. Listen to any of this fucking negative bullshit. I don't care what people think, and I don't care what people say. I figure out what I want to do. Why am I doing the Sphere? Sphere is going to cost me a bunch of fucking money, and it's because I want to do it, because I think it can be done, and I don't think anybody else can do it, and I know that I can. That's why. And I like to do these things. I like to challenge myself, and I like to build stuff that people say can't be built. So I don't know if that inspires anybody, or if people, you know, give a shit one way or the other, but that's who I am, and that's what I like to do. Thanks for coming tonight. I appreciate it.